You are so very welcome to our first module in the BE21 Skills Teacher Empowerment Programme. This programme is facilitated by the European Union under the Erasmus Plus programme. Module 1 focuses on 21st century skills in a nutshell. Shall we get started? For each of our 6 modules, you will benefit from a table of contents at the outset, which will provide a roadmap for what the module will cover. As you see, Module 1 is a very rich and quite full module that reviews the process of defining the 21st century skills and before going into each of them in detail. You will have seen on that slide also that this work is registered under a Creative Commons license, so it's fully adaptable for you to use. First, let's put the spotlight on the overall programme. What motivates this project? Basically, I suppose we were concerned that the rapid change of technology, globalization and internationalization is really, I suppose, creating a need for 21st century skills. That move from industrial to knowledge-based economies is also very prevalent. So well-rounded 21st century skills are vital to battle that uncertain future and helping Europe to become more resilient and respond better to what seems like ongoing threats. These skills are very much part of economic and even post-COVID recovery. We see from our work with employers and through Regional Skills Council that skills STEM graduates are often reported to lack 21st century skills, which then prevents them from innovating, developing and adding value to that company's bottom line. So I suppose we look to the fact that the BE21 Skilled project is about introducing those 21st century skills to STEM teachers and helping you to integrate them into existing curricula so that they create more competent job-ready STEM graduates and foster a support system to increase retention rates of particularly of female STEM students. We have 3 target groups that we are working for as part of the BE21 Skill project. First and foremost, you are STEM HEI teachers. While you are very skilled in the particular discipline that you teach, a lot of you will not have received training in many of the topics that we're going to cover in this module. So our aim is to help you to upskill in these areas, 21st century skills, to transfer these successfully. The ultimate beneficiary will, of course, be our STEM students. They will really benefit from the more expansive jobs-focused softer skills that you will be exposed to. And in particular, we want to shine the light on female STEM students. Many challenges faced by these students, and we are particularly interested in achieving better outcomes. So we're clear, the introduction of the skills, 21st century skills, and their integration into existing curricula has the potential to create more competent, job-ready STEM graduates, and again foster that support system and increase the retention rates of at-risk female STEM students. So 5 key objectives of the project. Facilitate the understanding and identification of 21st century skills in a region-specific and labour market relevant context. This part is really important, and this is achieved through multi-stakeholder collaborative efforts. You will benefit from our Module 2 that is dedicated to this area of stakeholder engagement. Secondly, we're fostering the HEI teacher ability to instill those 21st century skills to their students via training and feedback loops, enhancing the skill levels of students to increase their employability and capitalise on the whole innovative potential that they have. Again, as I mentioned, improving the understanding of non-female STEM actors on the need to support female STEM students and instill 21st century skills in them. It's very important that everybody is working towards that aim. And finally, innovate the curricula to embed tools targeted at developing particular skills in students. In all, we have 5 deliverables or results in the BE21 Skills project. Our first deliverable is regional skill councils that have been established in Latvia and Serbia, and those councils have formed the basis to develop 3 outputs: a blueprint, a skills panorama, and also this scoping of the 21st century skills. Secondly, we've developed a toolkit, which is a set of schools across 7 different thematic areas that will help to develop your skills and ultimately those of students. You are in the middle of the 21 Skills Teacher Empowerment Programme. So this is a set of 6 modules that have their foundation in Result 1 and 2, but really give you a deeper understanding of teaching those skills to HCI SEM students. So we are here. Fourthly, you will be presented with an outline for the BE21 Skilled e-Compass, which is our fully digitalized interactive platform that will bring all our knowledge together. And finally, our project will conclude with the BE21 Student Pilot and Playbook. This is an undertaking to develop students' 21st century skills through practical hands-on learning, which is always a really important factor in these projects. It's very important that the BE21 Skills Teacher Empowerment Programme builds on this solid foundation. So we are basing our work on the 2 previous project results. Project Result 1, which, as I mentioned, is the conceptual basis of the 21st century skills, the regional relevance, that's where regional skills councils come in, and then the overall skills panorama, which really puts the spotlight on our employers. And we had really interesting research that we'll share with you in a little while. And secondly, then our toolkit, which is a dynamic body of tools that will help you in student upskilling and bring life to 21st century skills in the classroom. So let's start the process of how did we even begin to define 21st century skills? What follows are very detailed project slides that share the experience of defining the skills. I am not going to read from those. You can study these at your own pace and in your own time, but they do provide you a really interesting background to the why these skills are brought to the fore under our project. I mentioned that the task was taken on by our EU partners, and we took this very seriously. There are very interesting academic research and policy levels, but what we found was that there was very little to interpret how such skills could be brought into the classroom, and that's very much what this teacher empowerment programme does. Regional skills councils were set up in each partner region to provide the scaffolding for the entire project. Each council, based in Latvia and Serbia, were comprised of relevant stakeholders from their respective regions. HEI teachers, business and NGO representatives, government representatives and students, and in particular female leaders. So together, these councils have been instrumental in guiding our definition of 21st century skills. So let's look at that process. The 3 documents that I mentioned earlier are published on our website, BE21SKILLED/resources, and I would really encourage you to look at those in detail. They provide the academic background by which our project has progressed. They take on board the research of the baseline report, which looks at existing 21st century skills frameworks and summarizes them for you into very succinct and understandable content. So the main ones that we looked at and analysed and shaped into our B21 skills formula are obviously the OECD Learning Framework 2030. I'm going to look at that in a little bit more detail. The publication on the skills forecast to 2030. Of course, EntreComp, GreenComp, DigiComp and LifeComp have to be a key part of our work. Interesting findings from the World Economic Forum in 2020, the Future of Jobs report, and others. So all skills frameworks were analysed, were current, research-based and internationally recognised. So we've done a lot of this work, so you don't have to. Let's have a look at the OECD Learning Framework 2020-30. I found this really interesting. So it identifies 3 cross-cutting transformative competencies for 2030 that will address the growing need for young people to be innovative, responsible and aware. And obviously this is based in academic research as well. The first one is creating new value. So helping our students to innovate to shape better lives will in turn create new jobs, businesses and services, as well as developing new knowledge, insights, strategies and solutions and applying them to problems both old and new. What we want our students to do is to question the status quo, collaborate with others and to think outside the box. Secondly, the framework looks at reconciling tensions and dilemmas. It takes into account that many of the interconnections and interrelations that seem contradictory or even incompatible in terms of ideas, logics and positions, as well as the results of actions from both long-term and short-term perspectives. This, I suppose, means that we are looking at a deeper understanding of opposing positions, developing arguments to support your own position, the student's own position, and finding practical solutions to dilemmas and conflicts. And finally, taking responsibility. So we are taking this content from OECD Learning Framework and understanding and applying it to the need to reflect upon and evaluate one's own actions in light of one's experience and educations, and by considering personal, ethical and societal goals. So the OECD took these transformative competencies and other key concepts and created a listing of 36 specific skills so that teachers and school leaders can better incorporate them into curricula. So you can access and review these 30 skills here through this link. Secondly, we have the CEDAPOP Eurofound publication on skills forecast to 2030. So this looked at skills supply and demand projections based on the current structure of Europe's labour market and the potential future trends. So this was particularly interesting to us because we need to be future ready, future smart. And they also looked at analysing the task content of employment using the jobs monitor approach. EntreComp is a well-recognised common reference framework that identifies 15 competencies in 3 areas that describe what it means to be entrepreneurial. This is content that students in STEM may not have previously benefited from, but having an entrepreneurial outlook is a very important factor as we go forward. Our work is also grounded in the CORSIA Unbounded University report. This is the only report selected that was STEM specific and offered skill set for each of the STEM fields. This we found very interesting. The report leverages data from millions of learners on Coursera, to identify skills proficiency gaps between students and working professionals that contribute to the employability gap. And we mentioned the employability gap throughout our 6 modules. So the B21 Skill Project team selected the top 6 skills of working professionals across relevant STEM fields. So they are presented to you in purple at the very top. And then we have the proficiencies as listed, and a grid created to provide an overview of, of, of those skills proficiency gaps. Clear findings emerged. So our team crunched those numbers and really, I suppose, got a clear understanding, and this is the starting point of the competencies, but and how relevant they were, how how strongly they came across. But it also must be noted that the list of 21st century skills has been developed to include general competencies and competencies that apply equally to all areas of STEM education. So it doesn't cover professional skills or skills that are only specific to certain types of fields or occupations. But then we proceeded to map the competencies against the employer perspectives, which is the focus of our module 2. So this is where it gets interesting. So we're looking at the performance analysis results of the 21st century skills and the performance of the universities in developing them. And this was mapping based on the employer survey conducted in 2022. So we're beginning to see where the skills are not only are really important on a scale, but we're also looking at tracking those according to performance. So 17 skills are listed in this formula. Let's summarize those. The most critical area requiring attention is where importance of skills is high, but performance of universities is currently low. So underperformance in these areas require immediate attention and high prioritization. 6 areas are highlighted at this point: self-management, purposefulness and perseverance, responsibility and fairness, adaptability, resilience and stress resistance, emotional intelligence and empathy, creativity, curiosity, open mindset and spotting opportunities, and finally well-being, positive attitudes and mindfulness. So our competence areas are emerging. Let's review them. This is where we are going to enjoy a deeper understanding of what makes up those skills and what they mean to you as a STEM teacher.